Hello everyone, welcome to Educational Narzo channel. In this video, I am going to talking about cursor in PLSQL. Now we see agenda of this video. First we see what is cursor, then types of cursor. There are two types of cursor. First type is implicit cursor and second type is explicit cursor. After that we see steps of using an explicit cursor, and last point of this video is attributes of cursor. Then we see some different examples of cursor. Okay guys, so let's start. First we see what is cursor. Before knowing about cursor, we have to first understand what is context area. For processing an SQL statement, Oracle creates a memory area. This memory area is called as context area. Context area which contains all the information needed for processing the statement. Now coming to the cursor. A cursor is a pointer to this context area. A cursor holds the rows, that is, one or more rows written by a SQL statement. The set of rows the cursor holds is referred to as the active set. Now the second point of the video is types of cursor. There are two types of cursor. First, that is implicit cursor. Implicit cursor which are automatically created by Oracle. And the second type of cursor is explicit cursor. Explicit cursor which are defined by the programmer. Let's understand the two types of cursors in details. First, we see the implicit cursor. Implicit cursors are automatically created by Oracle whenever an SQL statement is executed. If no explicit cursor is defined for the statement, programmers cannot control the implicit cursor and the information in it. In PLSQL, the implicit cursor is referred to the SQL cursor. Next type of cursor is explicit cursor. Explicit cursor are defined by the programmer to get more control over the context area. An explicit cursor is defined in the declaration section of the PLSQL block. It is created on a valid SQL statement, select statement. The syntax for creating an explicit cursor is given below. That is cursor, cursor name is select statement. Then we see steps of using an explicit cursor. There are 4 steps are used for explicit cursor. First, declaration. Second, open. Third, fetch. And last, fourth is close. Now see the details. First step is declaration. In this step, memory initialized for the cursor. Declaration is done under the declaration section. Note that only the first step is done on the declaration section. The next 3 steps are done on the execution section. The second step is open. In this step, memory is allocated for the cursor. The third step is a fetch. In this step, the data is retrieved from the cursor in some variables. The fourth and last step is close. In this step, the allocated memory is released. The syntax for all the 4 statements are given on the screen. The last point of this video is attributes of cursor. There are mainly 4 attributes of cursor. First, %found. Second, %not found. Third, % is open. And last, fourth one is a %row count. Now see the 4 attributes in details. First one is a %found. It returns true if a select statement returns at least one row or at least one row is affected by insert, update or delete statement. Otherwise, it returns false. Next attribute of cursor is %not found. It is just the opposite of %found. It returns true if the select statement does not return any row or no row is affected by select, update or delete statement. Otherwise, it returns false. Next and third attribute of cursor is %is open. It returns true if the cursor is open. Otherwise, it returns false. Note that it always returns false for the implicit cursor, or as Oracle closes the SQL cursor automatically after executing its associated SQL statement. And the last one attribute is %row count. It returns the number of rows affected by insert, update or delete statement, or the number of rows written by a select statement. The syntax of using any attribute is given below. That is cursor name, %attribute name. Let's see how to use cursor and their attributes through some examples. First, I will show my table by using select query. In the first example, we will see the use of implicit cursor and the attributes %found and %not found. Okay, so let's start the first example. Let's run the program. First, we will give the valid employee ID as input which is present in the table. I will give the value 2. This value which satisfied first condition, that is %found. So the output is delete successful. Let's run the program again. This time we will give an employee ID which is not present in the table. So this value will satisfy second condition, that is %not found. So the output is delete failed. Let's go to the next example. In this example, the attribute, we will see the use of explicit cursor and the attribute %is open and %row count. In this program, we declare the cursor as cursor name EMP. It select name salary from employee 10. Here we declare the ename as a variable and sal as a salary variable. So let's start the program. Here we open the cursor. Then if employee is %is open, then print the line cursor is open. End if, and here we use the loop fetch EMP into ename and salary. Exit when EMP %not found. Then print the line ename and salary. End loop. After that end loop, here we print the line %row count, that is row has been written, and close the cursor in the program. This is the output as the cursor has been opened. So statement is satisfied and hence the output is cursor is open. Then we have fetch the name and salary from the table. Using the loop, we have used %not found attribute. As the exit condition inside the loop, we have printed all the data, and the last we have printed the number of rows written by the cursor using %row count attribute. So the output is 2 rows has been written. I hope you all understood the topic of cursor in PL SQL. Thanks for watching.